So hi, quickly wanted to like catch some golden light, natural lighting before the sun went down. It was a lot brighter just now, but I was like, it was not nicer, the lighting. I was struggling with the external mic, but now hopefully everything is fine. What should I do now? Okay, I'm just here to like give you some updates about what I'm doing, I guess. So the Goodreads Choice Awards came out already, quite a while ago actually. And what I've been doing is that I wanted to make a video about it. So I've been trying to read as many of the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees as I possibly can, and so that firstly I know what to vote for the different categories because I do want to vote, and secondly I just wanted to compare them all together to see like how the nominees will fare against one another based on my own personal taste. I think after 28th of November it will go to the final round, I assume. Originally there were 20 nominees. The ones that got voted more will go to the final round. I'm also only going to read those that I am more interested in, because there's no point in reading the ones that I'm completely uninterested in, because then I will already know that I won't rate it highly. And also there's like too many categories and too many books within each category. There's 20, I cannot read that much in like 1 month. For the fiction category, I am interested in Beautiful World, Where Are You?, We Are the Brennans, and The Reading List. I tried to find the audiobooks on, I think it's called Libby. We Are the Brennans and The Reading List I am still on hold for. I placed a hold on it. Hopefully I'll get to read it, or if it's already past 28, then I guess I'll just read whatever's left out of these 3. For mystery thriller, there is Local Woman Missing, The Last Thing He Told Me, Apples Never Fall, Every Last Secret, The Push, Not a Happy Family, Rock Paper Scissors, The Maidens. Yeah, 8. And that's insane, so I'm obviously not going to read everything. So far I have read The Last Thing He Told Me. I actually DNF'd it at like 70% in because it was not good for me. Yeah, it's more like mystery, and I wasn't interested in any of the characters. I wasn't interested in what happened to the person. Yeah, so I just DNF'd it. Even though I could have finished it, I was 76% in. Yeah, so I will not be voting for that. The rest I am still trying to get to, but yeah, okay. For historical fiction, The Lost Apothecary, Four Winds, and Malibu Rising are the ones that I'm interested in. I have already read The Lost Apothecary. I don't know how to pronounce that word. And I only found it so-so. It was like just okay. I'm already starting to forget it because I read it like a few days ago. Also, like, you can see that the sky is getting darker, so that's why the lighting is changing. But let's bear with it, okay? I cannot be bothered to go and turn on the light. So yay, natural lighting. We follow 3 different perspectives in this book, and 2 of which are in the past and 1 is in the present day, and I wasn't interested in the present day perspective at all, so I felt that we could have done without it, even though that perspective was there to like explain what happened from when she found like something that belonged from the past. Yeah, but I didn't really care about that. For the perspectives that were in the past, I really wasn't attracted to any particular character. I wasn't invested in any of them, so I really didn't care like what happened to them. But it was overall just an okay read. That's why it was a 3 stars. I finished it. Most of it I read through audiobook. Yeah, and I wasn't particularly invested. Four Winds and Malibu Rising, I will get to it, I hope. Okay, for fantasy, I was only interested in Under the Whispering Door and The Inheritance of... I'm so sorry, I forgot. I will put the covers here. I was also looking at the number of ratings. I did like a whole list, okay? Maybe I'll like video screen share my Notion page for that. So I put in the book title, the genre, and that it was nominated in, the number of ratings it had, and whether I had read it in 2021 and whether it's already on a TBR of some sort of mine. Because I don't think a lot of people will vote for this particular book if the ratings are already not as high as other books, so I prioritized the ones with the higher number of ratings first. So in the end I decided to take out The Inheritance of that book because it didn't have a lot of ratings, and in comparison Under the Whispering Door had more. So yeah, I'll probably only be reading that for that category. Yeah, so that's all for fantasy. For memoir/autobiography, I don't really read a lot of non-fiction, so I was only interested in Crying in H Mart, and I have already read it and I really enjoyed it actually. I think I've seen like a lot of videos where people who read it, they cried and then they said that it touched them a lot. For me, I didn't expect to cry and I didn't cry, but the audiobook is so good. The author narrated it herself, and it was just about her journey where after finding out that her mom has cancer, that journey. Wow, I give such great descriptions. It was quite heavy. I mean, it's very heavy because there's trigger warnings for like cancer, terminal illness, death of a parent. Read at your own risk, but I really enjoyed it, particularly because of all the Korean culture references, because the author is Korean American and her mom is Korean. So all the food descriptions, oh my gosh. And it makes me want to reread it just for the Korean culture that I experienced by reading that book and the journey again. Yeah, so it's really like quite good and I would recommend it, which is why I already voted for it. Romance category: People We Meet on Vacation, Second First Impressions, X-Talk, One Last Stop, Love Hypothesis, Soulmate Equation, Life's Too Short, Spanish Love Deception. So I'm interested in these 8. The rest I have probably already read. I remember Love Hypothesis I read already. These are the ones I haven't read yet but I'm interested in, if that clarification was not clear. Okay, we are back with the light turned on. So for romance, I have already read Love Hypothesis, Life's Too Short, and Spanish Love Deception. I originally DNF'd at 13% because I was in a mood. I was like trying to get to as many of these books as possible, and then I DNF'd at 13% because I found the main character, the female main character, quite annoying because it started off with like her hating the guy for something that he said about her 2 years ago and she hasn't forgiven him for that. So it's just her being very spiteful to the guy, but the guy is obviously into her, okay, from the first page. So it's not really like enemies to lovers, it's more of like her one-sided enemy to lover thing. So I was like thinking that I would just DNF it and move on. But I saw Kevin's Irish reader's video about him reading like books that are popular on TikTok. And one of those books were Spanish Love Deception. And it was like he loved that book so much. So I just decided to give in, and I saw on Instagram Explore, right, it's everywhere, okay, that book and Love Hypothesis is everywhere. So I decided to give it a second chance. So today I started reading it again. Hopefully I will change my mind, but I doubt so. I think at most it will be like 3 stars at most, okay? Then we shall see whether I'm correct. For Love Hypothesis, I just finished it today. Oh my god, it was so cute, okay, it was freaking cute. It's about, I think it's based off of some Star Wars characters that I don't know about because I don't watch Star Wars, but it was freaking cute, even for someone who doesn't get the reference. But the description, okay, so we follow Adam and Olive. Adam is like a faculty member, a professor in the university, the graduate university, and Olive is like just a graduate student. They kind of meet and then they fake date because they just have like they just meet and then they fake date, okay? And Adam is described as a very big person, like he is as tall as Mount Everest, or you can see Adam from a distance because he's so tall. He's like a head taller than everybody else. Actually, I don't even know how tall he is, okay? If you know, let me know because I only know that he's very big and he's a lot taller than Olive, who is apparently 5'8" that I remember, and I am only 5'2", so I don't know how big is Adam if he is already so much bigger than Olive. It's very cute. Okay, I love Adam's character so much. Oh my gosh, he's such a brooding character, but he's so cute, and then he's like very mean to other people's work, but because they are like not related, so okay, they end up having like fake dating relationship, right? But it's okay because he is not her direct advisor, she is not his graduate student, so they are like technically not related to each other in the professional context, so it's okay for them to have this relationship. I also love Olive's character, like their banter is very funny and it made me like smile so many times, and I kept wanting to read it even though I had a freaking exam and I wanted to read it more than study for my exam. Like my priorities. It was freaking cute. I gave it like 4.75 stars, which is rounded up to 5 on Goodreads. It's probably like the first romance that I gave 5 stars on Goodreads for, because other books that I've read, right, there's always something that will like make me not be able to want to give it 5 stars. But this one I deducted 0.25, but it's 4.75. I struggled between 4.5 and 5. That's why it's 4.75. So yeah, Olive's character, she's quite cute for me and for Adam, obviously. But let me talk about spoilers, okay? Spoilers. For Olive, right, because she's doing this fake dating thing for her friend Anne, so that Anne will know that she's not into the guy that Anne is interested in. So but Anne doesn't know this, so she keeps like trying to get Adam and Olive to like do PDA things together, which I feel like that's so stupid. Like, not stupid, but like it makes me uncomfortable, it makes Olive uncomfortable. But I don't know why she just didn't say that she didn't want to stand her ground. Maybe she just secretly wanted to. But yeah, so she ended up doing it, and then I'm just like, why? There is no need. Like, it helps make the relationship between them more cute and like their bond stronger. But no, even though like towards the end, Anne revealed once Anne found out that their relationship was like fake dating, and then she was like, oh, I feel bad, like I only did that because I thought you were uncomfortable with doing it, and I just wanted you to make you feel more comfortable, or like you don't need to be uncomfortable or something like that. Yeah, I just didn't really like that part. So there was a moment of time where I didn't like Anne, but I've come to like slowly accept her. And also I didn't really like the steamy scenes. Like, it made me feel very uncomfortable. There were very weird phrases like, oh, you are edible. It's not a continuous variable, it is categorical. Then I was like, I'm understanding the signs of this, but there is no need to say this during the steamy scenes. Yeah, that's why I like minus like 0.25. I can't really remember from my whole review, but if you want to read it, it will be in my Goodreads page. Yeah, okay, so it's end of spoilers. I was also going to say that I love how scientific and nerdy this book is. Being a psych student, I can understand like the statistical analysis, like the type 1, type 2 errors, the hypothesis. I mean, you don't have to be a psych student to know about hypothesis. Like, and every chapter starts with a hypothesis, which I can't remember if it gets proven true or proven false. But yeah, there's a hypothesis and it's so cute. And then all the descriptions of like what they need to do in the lab, and then their reports, and then all just the science of it. It just makes me feel so happy. I never thought that I would be delighted to read about something that I know about, but it just, by reading about this academic stuff in books that I can understand, just makes me feel better about myself. Like, I can understand, oh, this is what my psych degree is for. Like, yeah. Okay, Life's Too Short. It was the last book from that series by Abby Jimenez. Yeah, there's something about her books, right, that she will hook you from the start, so you will be addicted to and want to read, right? But towards the end, like, there's always something there that will make you like not want to rate it so high. Like, there's something that affects your rating. So for that Life's Too Short one, right, we follow, I can't remember the characters' names already, okay, but the female, I remember her name, she's Vanessa. She's a YouTuber, a travel vlogger, and the guy's name, I really cannot remember, I'm so sorry, but he is a criminal defense lawyer. Two very interesting professions, but we didn't get to see much of the criminal defense lawyer's profession because it was very much focused on Vanessa's profession, being a YouTuber. Okay, so she actually started her channel because she's like from this family with a history of ALS, so her family members have suffered from it and passed away from it. So she also believes that she will get it and her life will be very short, which is why she started her travel vlog channel to firstly fund ALS research and also like showcase her travels while she is still alive. Yeah, so they meet because they are next door neighbors. She is fostering her half-sister's baby. The guy gets so annoyed from it because the baby was crying at 4 a.m. So he went over to like offer to help with the baby. I felt like their chemistry was just okay, and the topic of ALS was very heavy throughout the whole book, so it's like kind of weighing it down because with this realistic stuff, and it's not really like a fluffy rom-com, you know. Towards the end, I really didn't like how there was a conflict. I can't remember the conflict exactly now, but I didn't like how they resolved that conflict also. So in the end, I only gave it like 3 or 3.5. So for now, my favorite, it is still The Love Hypothesis. I still have a few more to go. So moving on to the debut novels. Okay, there's quite a few overlaps. We have Spanish Love Deception again, Firekeeper's Daughter, Honey Girl, and We Are the Brennans, which was already previously nominated for fiction. Out of those, I have only started with Spanish Love Deception, as I have said, so hopefully I will make some progress on that. For YA fiction, we have Firekeeper's Daughter, previously nominated for debut novel, The Girls I've Been, You Have a Match, The Cousins, Instructions for Dancing, She Drives Me Crazy, and Ace of Spades. So I haven't started on that category at all. For sci-fi, I only read one book. I'm only interested in one book. It was Klara and The Sun, but I will not be voting for that because I only gave it like 3 stars, I believe. Klara and The Sun is by Kazuo Ishiguro, and yes, I only gave it 3 stars. So I really enjoyed reading from an AI's perspective in this story. So in this story, we follow Klara, who is an artificial friend. She gets paired with this girl to be her artificial friend, but before that we follow her experiences in the shop waiting for the person to come and meet her to like want to buy her bag. She gets paired with this friend, right? She has some sort of illness. She just described as a sickly girl to be a companion at home. We just follow them at home, and then maybe Klara tries to save the day by doing something. Yeah, overall I just gave it like a 3 stars because I wasn't really like enraptured by any character. I liked Klara's character though, like her perspective of an AI and everything. But also I felt like the world wasn't developed enough. So because this is like a sci-fi, right, I wanted to know more about, like, for example, the stereotypes AFs face in this world, or like the prejudice, and it wasn't developed a lot because we just follow from the perspective of Klara, and her perspective is so small because she's just in the shop, in the home, and that's all, and the people that she meets from there. So I wanted to know more, but I wasn't given that. And also the ending was a little sad, I think. I wasn't really sure what was happening at the end. I was interpreting it, but I'm not sure whether my interpretation is correct. Yeah, it was just okay, so I wouldn't like rate it any higher than a 3 stars, so I would not be voting for that. So I'm not voting for sci-fi. And last but not least, Anyway the Wind Blows. The only other book that I want to read is Rule of Wolves. I am still currently reading King of Scars. Let me show you this beautiful book. Okay, you can see like there's only a few tabs here. It's so long, I cannot. I have passed the halfway mark. So this is the back, right? I have passed the halfway mark already. You can see there's a line in the middle. There's still so much more to go, and the chapters was so long. And I also read like physical books so much slower than ebooks, which is why I'm taking quite long for this book, but it's okay. Hopefully I'll get to it before the results come out. If not, I'll just have voted for Anyway the Wind Blows also. Yeah, so that's all from me for now. Hopefully there will be more updates.
One eternity later.
Hello, I'm aware that I'm dressed very weirdly because I'm in my home clothes, but I am wearing a necklace and I'm wearing earrings, okay, mainly because I had my hair down, but before that I tied my hair. So you know how like when you tie your hair too tightly, it becomes like there's like a poof here. So in order to hide that, I retied my hair, and to look less bad, I put on earrings. I don't know whether that was a good decision or not. Okay, but anyway, I'm here to let you know about my changes for the Goodreads Choice Awards Readathon. So today, they finally released the final round finalists for all the different categories, right? And I realized that I am very screwed because that means I have about like 5 days. Yeah, the final round ends in 5 days. I cannot. How am I supposed to read everything by then? Oh my god. Okay, so anyway, I'm here to tell you about all the different categories. Okay, so let's start with the first category. There were some that I have already read, but it got removed, right? Yeah. Anyway, so but most of them are still here. So okay, for fiction, basically We Are the Brennans got removed. So now we are left with Beautiful World, Where Are You, and The Reading List, both of which I just downloaded their audiobooks. So I don't know whether I'm gonna get to them within the 5 days that I have left because there's so many other categories also, right? We shall see. Anyway, next is mystery thriller. So the ones that are left are The Last Thing He Told Me, Apples Never Fall, The Push, Rock Paper Scissors, and The Maidens. So basically what got removed was Every Last Secret, Local Woman Missing, and Not a Happy Family from what I wanted to read. So out of the 5 that are there, I have already read The Last Thing He Told Me. Actually it was more like a DNF. I already told you about this. And The Maidens. Okay, let me just talk to you about The Maidens now, okay? I gave it like 2.5 stars if I remember correctly, mostly because I wasn't very into any of the characters, and the story itself was kind of like okay. Like I kind of guessed who was the person that did it. Like they were one of my considerations, so I was kind of correct. And anyway, like none of the plot twists really like shook me also. So yeah, I gave it 2.5 stars. I found it like an okay passable read, so I'm not going to be voting for that. Next we have historical fiction. All of the 3 books in that category that I wanted to read is still there. So The Lost Apothecary I've already talked to you about, and then Malibu Rising and Four Winds I don't know whether I'll get to this category because both books are like quite long. So yeah, probably I'll just skip that category and see whoever wins. Then maybe I'll read the winning book instead. For fantasy, Under the Whispering Door is still there, so maybe I'll get to it before the final round ends. I don't know. Memoir autobiography is Crying in H Mart, and it was still there. So I voted for it immediately because that was the only book that I read for it and the only book I wanted to read for it. Yes, and I enjoyed it. For romance, it's quite interesting. Second First Impressions, X-Talk and Life's Too Short were removed, which is sad because I had already read the Life's Too Short book. Yeah, but I wasn't going to vote for it anyway, so what is left is People We Meet on Vacation, One Last Stop, The Love Hypothesis, Soulmate Equation, and Spanish Love Deception. So I am currently reading People We Meet on Vacation, and I have already read Love Hypothesis and Spanish Love Deception. I think I've already told you about Love Hypothesis. I loved it so much. I give it 5 stars. But if nothing else works, I'm just gonna vote for Love Hypothesis if I don't get to everything in time, because I mean it's already 5 stars. For sci-fi, Klara and The Sun got in, but I don't think I will vote for it because I only gave it like 3.5 or was it 3, so I don't think it's fair for me to vote for it when I didn't really like enjoy it a lot. Debut novel is a little bit tricky because I like messed it up a little bit, but Firekeeper's Daughter is still there, Honey Girl is still there, We Are the Brennans and The Push are still there. I haven't read any of those, so I have to like get to it or just skip the whole category completely. For YA fiction, there is Firekeeper's Daughter, The Cousins, Instructions for Dancing, and Ace of Spades. Out of those, I am planning to read Ace of Spades, but I might get to The Cousins first because it has more ratings, so I assume that more people will vote for it. We shall see. I probably won't read Instructions for Dancing and probably won't read Firekeeper's Daughter, but nothing is confirmed yet. YA fiction, the ones that got removed were The Girls I've Been, You Have a Match, and She Drives Me Crazy. Okay, last but not least, for YA fantasy and sci-fi, Rule of Wolves is still inside, but and I had already been reading it until I'm at like 100 plus pages on my phone, but I think I might have to like put a pause to it because, as I mentioned before, I already voted for Any Way the Wind Blows, and Rule of Wolves is a freaking thick book. Like King of Scars was thick, and I was reading it physically. Rule of Wolves is like 800, 900 pages on my phone, and I cannot take that. I cannot read it in 5 days also. I don't think if I want to read it in 5 days, I have to sacrifice the other books. So I am going to put a pause on that and try to read as many of the other books as I can to give like all the other categories a fair chance, and I'm just gonna vote for Any Way the Wind Blows since I already have something I want to vote for in that category. We shall wait for any more updates in the future. So goodbye for now and this terrible look.
4 to 6 days later.
Okay, good morning. I need to give you an update because I'm going to vote on the romance category already. So far, I have read, I don't know if I've updated that I'm reading People We Meet on Vacation, but I have finished that already. And then I recently like just finished the Soulmate Equation. And because we only have like a few days left before everything ends, right, I'm going to just vote for my romance book category already because I don't think One Last Stop will make me change my mind. You might think that this is like a biased voting, but I've already tried to read as many as I possibly could. So before I continue, you might want to take note of the books that I've read for this category. From here, I have read The Love Hypothesis, The Spanish Love Deception, Soulmate Equation, Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and People We Meet on Vacation. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10. Exactly half. The rest, I'm only interested in One Last Stop, but the rest I don't really like. I'm not really interested in reading now because I might want to save it for future. But yeah. Okay, so for out of 5, you can try to think which one I'm going to vote for before I review my ratings for Soulmate Equation and People We Meet on Vacation. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you now. I'm going to vote for The Love Hypothesis. Let's talk about People We Meet on Vacation first. Okay, so that one is kind of like a friends to lovers kind of situation. We have 2 best friends who love to go traveling together. Somehow they realize that they have feelings for one another, then they're just fighting this because they're friends. That was it. I can't even remember their names, okay, from this book, because I thought it was just okay. The characters were just fine, the plot was just fine for me. I think I don't really like friends to lovers, I guess, or maybe it's just this book, I don't know. It was my first Emily Henry, meaning that I've never read Beach Read before, but I want to. Yeah, so I didn't vote for that. I read this mainly via the audiobook. The other books I've also listened to the audiobooks also, so I don't think it would have much of an effect. I gave it like 3 stars, I believe, because I didn't really like the flashback style in this also. So in this book, right, we keep going back and forth, like the present summer, and like a few summers ago, maybe it's like 9 summers ago, then the next chapter is present summer, then the next chapter is like 11 summers ago. Their friendship kind of had like a crack in it because something happened in one of their trips, so they like didn't talk to each other for 2 years until suddenly the female main character reached out to the male main character, and then I think they go on another trip together, and then that's where all their feelings like ignite. So yeah, I didn't really like the flashback style. I would prefer it to just like, you tell me now. I didn't really like the conflict that happened also. I feel like from a lot of romance books, right, whether or not I give it like a good rating, like a very high rating, it depends on the conflict and how it's done, and then how it's resolved. So yeah, I didn't really like the conflict in this. So for Soulmate Equation, which I just finished, oh my god, so I haven't even rated it on Goodreads yet, but I'm going to rate it like 4 stars, okay, because I like the premise of this book. So it's about like the male main character's job, right, is that he's in this company. This company believes in finding your soulmate based on your DNA. You know how we have a lot of those DNA tests nowadays, and you'll find out like your origins, like your ancestors and all that, right, like your countries and all your dietary restrictions and everything, just that this one is for your soulmate. So the same thing, you just have to spit into this thing, and then you send it over, and then they'll like match it with their database. They will give you a list of matches, so you can select how high you want the compatibility to be. So maybe you can like just put it very low, because if you're just there for like, I don't know, fun, or if you're looking for a serious relationship, then you can look 70 and above, for example. The highest they have had so far is 93 out of like 100. They have different tiers, the names also. So I know that there's base match, then there's silver, gold, platinum, titanium. I know the highest one is diamond. Our female main character, she puts in her results like for fun on impulse, because her friend was like egging her on about it also, because she was already like in the program. So she just did it, and then turns out that her compatibility rate is 98 with another person, and that is our male main character. So that's how the story starts, and then they are like trying to get to know each other to see whether or not this like data is correct. So I don't really want to give too much spoilers, I guess. I just want to like let you know the main storyline. I really liked the scientific part of this, similar to how I love the love hypothesis, because of all the scientific parts, okay? So the guy is like a very nerdy person, because he's like working in that company, and then he's like all the science, right? Oh, actually the female main character is also like she's a statistician. Yes, okay? Both of them are like very cute when they talk about data. I love it. I realized that I guess I like people when it's like nerdy things. Like it's so interesting. They don't start off well, they don't like each other until they realize that, oh, they have this 98 thing, then they want to try it out, and then things progress from there. The female main character has a child, a daughter, and I love seeing the interactions with the daughter. Is called Juno, so Juno with the female main character and with the male main character. Like I don't know, I guess I like kids in books also. The main part of why like I didn't give it as like higher than 4, even though 4 is like quite high already, is because of how towards the middle, I guess, like I started to like lose a little bit of interest. I was very intrigued at the start to see how they find out that, oh, they have this 98 compatibility thing, and then like they have to like kind of be in a relationship together to try it out, you know. But then towards the middle was okay, and then female main character was dealing with a lot of issues on her family side also. I predicted the conflict that would come about in a way, like it was predictable. After that also, like the resolution was just okay only. So yeah, it's quite cute, but like I would only give it 4 and not higher. In the end, I just came here to tell you that I'm voting for the love hypothesis, and it's already 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna like goodbye. If you're interested in what I'm reading next, I am going to read the Under the Whispering Door for the fantasy category, because it's also the buddy read for Isabella's Discord page for December. Still a lot more reading to be done, and still feeling pressured about it, but yeah, I'm just gonna read whatever I can, and hopefully I can have something to vote for. Okay, the angle has changed because I thought I was done with this, but I wanted to come on again to let you know why I didn't vote for the other book. And so I didn't vote for Act Your Age Eve Brown because I only gave it like 3 stars. Yeah, and actually the whole trilogy, right, I kind of gave it like 3 to 4 only. And I don't know why. Like, it just didn't really like spark anything in me. I gave 3.25. Yeah, I don't know why. I just found it like okay only. And it's been so long that I can't remember. But okay, and then for Spanish Love Deception, that one I have a lot of thoughts for. It has been very popular on Book Talk from what I've heard. Love Hypothesis and Spanish Love Deception, and both of them have the grumpy sunshine trope. Yeah, but I really don't get the hype for Spanish Love Deception because I thought it was just okay. I gave it 3 stars because the book was freaking long. Okay, I originally started reading it and I DNF'd it at 13.3%, 13.3%. Okay, because I found the female main character from, I'm looking here, she's called Catalina, and I found her quite annoying because she just doesn't like the male main character, right? And she's just intent on hating this person. And the thing is, like, the guy obviously likes her. If not, why would he be so insistent on like doing things for her, right? And she just doesn't see it. And then the friend also says how like she has been hating him for so long, like about 2 years, because of this one thing that he did. And I just like why? I didn't really like care much about their chemistry also. I didn't really feel their chemistry. And like, I guess out of all the characters in that book, I like Aaron the most. Aaron Blackford, which is the male main character. But yeah, it's not really like, it was pitched as enemies to lovers, but it was definitely not, considering how the guy likes her. Okay, it was mentioned like at the end. If you count this as a spoiler, you can skip a bit ahead. Like, it was mentioned at the end how, oh, he was very mean to her at the start, but it wasn't really described, like shown to us in present day. So I didn't really get that until the end. Then I understood like, oh, okay, like I guess if you're telling me that this happened, then sure. And with the book being so long, right, I would expect like slow burn to like mix things up in me and be like, oh my god, I need to read this to find out how they get together. The slow burn is killing me, but none of that happened. Okay, I was just like, oh my god, this book is freaking long, let me get through it. How many more pages do I have left? Oh, still so much, you know. And I appreciated the Spanish culture because the female main character is Spanish, and then how the characters will speak in Spanish sometimes. But you know, I would want to read more of her author's works in future, but I will not be voting for Spanish Love Deception.
4 to 6 days later.
Hello. So this is probably going to be the end of this video already because I'm only left with like 19 hours before the final round ends, and I just think that I do not have any more time to read any more books from the Goodreads Choice Awards Nominees. I just finished Under the Whispering Door, which is in the fantasy category, and I gave it 4.25 stars, so I'm planning to vote for that in the fantasy category because I really quite enjoyed it, just that it didn't hit the 5-star mark for me. But yeah, I would recommend other people to read it also, which is why I'll vote for it. Yeah, so that will conclude my experience trying to read as many books as possible. A bit of a pity that I didn't manage to vote for other categories because the mystery thrillers, the ones that I've read are not what I would vote for. I am still currently reading Rule of Wolves and The Reading List, so yeah, I probably can't make it in time, so I will not be voting for those unless I miraculously finish one of the books before the voting ends tomorrow, but I doubt so. So yeah, I'll probably do like another video where I read the winners from the Goodreads Choice Awards from the categories that I like, but we shall see. So yes, thank you and goodbye.